Welcome everyone to week 4 for us, or episode 4 of the Mid-Geek Crisis. I'm Joe.
I'm Pedro.
So we were back with another episode. Thanks for watching the previous one. We won't go through the normal stuff as usual. We just want to kick right into the news. We've got a lot to talk about, and we don't want to run out of time here.
That's exactly right.
So last week, the big news, I guess it was Friday, right, that it kicked off, was BlizzCon. BlizzCon. I am not a big Blizzard aficionado as I used to be. I loved my Diablo. Diablo 3 just came out on Switch, by the way. If you haven't picked it up, pick it up. It's fantastic. The only indulgence of Blizzard that I really dive into as of days recent have been Overwatch. And Overwatch is a giant animal for them now. It's this beacon.
I was gonna say, don't you have like a Houston Outlaws hat? You've gone
right. Oh yeah, totally. I love it. So that's what I'm saying. But everything else that is Blizzard, I haven't really indulged in years. The whole World of Warcraft.
Sure.
I left that many years ago. That was left long ago.
Still calls to me. I won't lie. I see gameplay videos sometimes. I'm like, man, I kind of miss that grind. I miss grinding that one out.
So let's start with that. Let's start with World of Warcraft, because that was one of their announcements of sort, and one of their big ones was, of course, a World of Warcraft Classic was announced finally, which is, I think, something that
I think I missed that news with all the other news about BlizzCon coming out.
Right. So if you didn't, let me make sure I got that right, and we want to pull that up because that's an important one. But the whole purpose is the fandom has been asking for World of Warcraft, Classic for a while. And
so, like, play to level 60, do those old raids.
So, if you didn't know this, they talk about for the past few years, there's been like a underground movement of sorts. These guys that, I guess, they hack the server, they hack the client to create their own server, and they run like an unofficial version of World of Warcraft pre-Burning Crusades, if I'm not mistaken, or up to Burning Crusades. And
wow, okay.
Basically, people just want to play that old version of the game, and that version of the game no longer exists anymore. It not officially, right? You can't play it. There's no way to, how if you buy a game now, buy the disc, you pop it in. If you don't have internet access, you can play the game the way it was originally launched.
Assuming it launched in a working...
Assuming it launches, right? Yeah. So WoW is one of those games. There's a lot of like nostalgia, story that was left behind and was kind of encapsulated in a time frame of World of Warcraft that has now progressed. NPCs have moved on. The graphics have
cities are destroyed.
Right.
Chasms were flooded. I remember the craziness.
Which, again, I thought that was the whole appeal of this, right? But that being said, people want to play this version of WoW. So you had multiple groups, and I'm not going to know their names off the top of my head, but a couple of them kept putting up these unofficial servers, and Blizzard would come down with the wrath of Azeroth and just destroy them. Wipe them off with litigation and whatever.
I think Azeroth's the name of the world, so they wouldn't really. You know what?
The entire world just landed. Boom, done. And of course, it's the complete one, the complete map now, not the one from the original, which was like 2 islands. Now it's 15, whatever. So they finally announced this version that apparently people want, and according to, and I'm quoting this particular article on Kotaku, anyone who had a ticket to BlizzCon got a demo of the game.
Oh, awesome.
So they were able to play. So if you bought a ticket to, even the virtual ticket to BlizzCon, you got a classic demo of WoW Classic. That being said, the headline is called "The WoW Classic Demo is the Hell We Asked For."
Of course. Of course.
And I can only...
You can't go home again. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Never relive those feelings.
it's I don't know what people want. It's like, insert GIF here that is, I don't know what I expected. Like, It's exactly that. There is no half the cool stuff that you've had is gone, and now you're running around with like skins and graphics and textures from back in the day.
Oh,
I don't. Sure, cool. Grats to you. You get to play this game. I don't know why you want to.
I imagine the folks that had to work on this classic, the developers, seeing a review like that at Kotaku being like, it's the hell we asked for, and being like, what the, like, we finally give you what you want, you ungrateful bastards.
Right. So there's someone out there just going, yes, we finally got it. But
we got Blizzard to do what we wanted.
Right.
Yeah. And then of course, they opened their BlizzCon with exactly what the fans wanted, right? This is the delivery of. So
hold on, we'll get to that. Well, I know where you're going. That was no. The best part was that was the end. That was their last.
That was the end. I thought that was the beginning. No, I thought that was their opening.
So they opened up with Overwatch, and they introduced the new character. So Overwatch had a new character.
She's a cowboy with the big gun, right? I've seen the pictures.
Yeah. So her name is, let me verify this because I haven't played. Her name is Ash, and she's a fantastic looking character. I mean, she got her own little movie. She had her trailer. You got one of the animated, the fantastic animated.
They've got the greatest design team in the world. Yes.
Yeah, with McCree. So it's if you haven't watched it, it's called Reunion. It's a pretty good, little short that every time you watch one of those, we go, why isn't Blizzard just making animated movies? Like, why can't we just get them to like give us a Pixar movie of World of Warcraft? Why did they give it to Warner Brothers and do the CG nonsense when all they wanted was a CG? Those intros, those animated movies that we get at the beginning of every expansion, that's what we wanted. We didn't get that. So yeah, but
you're talking about the film,
right? So Warcraft, the Warcraft movie, the one that came out a few years back.
No, I remember it. My mom really enjoyed it. I don't. That's a stellar review.
It was okay. It's fun.
It was a popcorn film. This is going back to your.
But there's nothing for it. Like at the end of the day, it's forgettable. I can't remember. It mixes up with a few other fantasy movies in my head. So that being said,
that's fair.
So yeah, but again, we got an animated, we got Ash. That was what they started. The next big announcement was WoW Classic, which is what everyone wanted.
All right.
Then the next one, the next big announcement was it was Warcraft 3 Reforged.
That looks great. Actually,
that had me. That had me.
Oh, it's great. Actually, yeah.
It's every game that Blizzard makes now is kind of this multiplayer bonanza. It's one of those games where everything you have to do, everything you do in the game, from Hearthstone to World of Warcraft to Overwatch, everything requires other people to enjoy.
Right.
Warcraft 3.
What's up?
And we're playing. Warcraft 3 was one of the last indulgence, I think, that I remember, besides Diablo, and we'll talk about Diablo in a second, but a single player Blizzard. Fantastic.
Nice campaign with the story, with good challenges, and
and that was. I mean, I didn't even know how long it had been. It'd been, 15 years or something like that. 10 years.
It's been that long. Yeah,
it's been that long. And Warcraft 3 was pre World of Warcraft, and it's what led to it. It was the prequel to everything that happened in World of Warcraft. So we're getting a remaster, which is interesting. I think that gamers hate the World remaster unless you really love it and it's the game that you want, and then we love it.
Right. But it's reforged. It's not remastered. Just right. They paid a lot of Harvard marketing folks to think up a new word for remastered, and they landed at reforged. So you gotta use their branding names. I'm excited for it. I mean, like real-time simulations.
Oh my god! So
it's kind of a RTS is out there. A lot of good games, but they've gotten harder and harder, and
yeah, they have.
They require more and more speed, and they've got all this complication. I would love to go back to this sort of pure enjoyment of Warcraft.
If you haven't watched any of the
StarCraft 2 and those games,
you should. They've upgraded that engine. They've new textures, new maps. The map maker is being completely redone. All of the old maps.
Blizzard does, Joe. They take a game model. This is what they've always succeeded at. They take a game model that's kind of and then they just polish it and polish it and polish it until it comes out beautiful. So why wouldn't they go back into their catalogs and pull out stuff that they know is already good, polish those suckers some more, and then sell it to us at full price, right? Like, and
pull it out, polish it.
Pull it out and polish it. That's what we all love to do. I know what I'm doing there. I know what I'm doing. Well, that's exciting. I hope they'll have a StarCraft 2 reforged, maybe, or remastered, rebuilt, whatever they need to do.
Re-released awesome. They did release it for free, and did they? I don't remember. They did. StarCraft has a. It
does. All right, then maybe I'm wishing for a StarCraft 3. Then is really
Is what. Well,
I woke up from some dream wishing for a StarCraft 3.
Right. Yeah.
We've been dancing around it though, Joe. We gotta just take the Band-Aid off on this.
Okay, so we're gonna rip the Band-Aid off, and the final announcement was, of course, Diablo Immortal, and they started off with wonderful footage, and then it panned out, and it was a mobile game.
Dude, I mean, people were not excited. I will just drop that.
What's interesting to me is I was excited. I was like,
Joe,
look, man, like, let's be honest here. Mobile gaming has moved on, and it's a money-making machine.
It's good. If you don't play in that field, you're in trouble. Everyone else says you've got to play in that field as well.
Right. You have to play. Blizzard has to jump into that market. You've got, God, let me pull up. I should be ready for this, but again, I hate to bring it up, but Fortnite, for example, they made April 6th. This is a story from April 6th. Fortnite on iOS made $15 million in its first 3 weeks in the App Store.
Jesus Christ.
So think about that. That's $15 million they did not have prior to 3 weeks before they launched it. AKA, they made $15 million extra from all of the other, just in transactions through the iOS App
printing
Store.
Money. No, we know printing Fortnite's model. Print this month.
The big deal here is I don't know what Blizzard is going to do money-wise. I'm sure they'll have skins or whatever. They're going to do it because it's mobile. There is no such thing as a game that comes out that you pay once and you don't pay any more money. It doesn't happen. That's not what you get on mobile. And mobile gaming is a method of constant ad revenue, constant money-generating machine. And iOS, Android lovers out there will know the Android store doesn't make as much money as iOS. The Apple App Store is a better beast for developers. They just brings in more money. And Fortnite brought in 15 million.
I mean, like it's a shiny department store, Apple, right? They've got all the displays set up. They put it in front of you. There's support. There's top lists. Android's kind of a stratified market, right? You don't even know if your phone can run the crap you might download.
Right. Different.
I think the 5 people that listen to our show know this, though. So
right, absolutely. So that being said, the App Store is where to go, and $15 million were made in the first 3 weeks. That's first 3 weeks. There's an updated story somewhere that I read recently that something was like $65 or $85 million or something like that within series. It's one of the biggest. Since it's something ridiculous.
I believe it.
So, again, that's why Blizzard is doing this. Okay, now, because of the mobile version of Fortnite,
sure,
you have it ported over to things like Switch because the processor inside of that is kind of like a mobile phone. So, I think Blizzard knows what it's doing here, and it's developing a mobile version, and it'll probably port it to Switch, and it'll probably port it to like the console stores at some point, and it'll just be. I mean, I'm just foreshadowing here, but
no, I mean, you're. I don't think you're saying anything that people don't know in their hearts. People don't know in their minds.
Now,
in their hearts,
they want
Blizzard to go to mobile before stopping at PC Town. That's sacrilege, dude. You gotta stop at PC Town, and then that way all the PC folks, let's call them PC friends, can lord it over everyone for a little while.
I don't agree.
And then once it's everywhere else,
you know what? PC gaming just doesn't bring in the revenue. It just doesn't do it. Let's be honest here.
I mean, it doesn't bring in the revenue, but I do feel like you can't. They're an extremely vocal, and I'm going to use the word in the best possible way, angry group of fans. I mean, like
Mhm.
the folks. I mean, the folks at BlizzCon are not mobile gamers, man. They are hardcore buying a ticket to a game
Right,
event where they're paying
right.
PC games. They're World of Warcraft fans,
I
PC.
agree.
They're
That's
Overwatch fans, and if
right.
you're good
Okay.
at Overwatch, you're
So
playing on the
so I
PC.
will agree with you that
You know, you can't.
the thousands of people that showed up that weekend at BlizzCon in person are probably 90%
The folks logging into the stream
logging
are the
into
same way.
yeah,
The folks that are reading articles about this are the same way, right? Like, yeah, I mean, I've downloaded. I've downloaded Diablo clones, had fun with them for a couple weeks, and moved on. Right? Like, I've played these games, and they're
but they've
fine.
never been Diablo.
No,
Right. But that's my point here is it's always it's someone else has been beating them to the mark. All these
yeah,
other games have been coming out that
of
are Diablo
course,
clones that look fantastic on mobile and they hold their attention for a
play
small
pretty well. They,
and
yeah,
then you move on. Now we're getting the full power of Blizzard with an actual Diablo game on mobile. And we're gonna get to see what they can do. Here's a good example.
I'm wondering. I'm wondering how. Let's make a prediction here. How do you think it's going to work? Right. So for me, mobile games are 10 minutes on the. Well, let's be honest. 20 minutes on the can. 15 minutes maybe before a meeting. If I'm commuting, 20 minutes on the bus. Right. I don't have a lot of time to mobile game, and most of
I
these
think
clones are pretty quick.
dungeons will be
They
10,
have to
20
be way
minutes.
shorter. And then am I using my data to have someone join my game? Do I join their game? How does that like there's
Look,
gonna be
we have to take into consideration that mobile gaming on devices on these devices right here, they are filling in the gap of what a 3DS did for a while.
sure.
Like so, Sony has no handheld. The Vita is dead. 3DS isn't powerful enough for handheld gaming anymore. I mean, they have some good games. Nintendo knows how to harness that power out of it,
Yeah.
but all in all, it's a system that's like 5 years old, 6 years old now. It's an old system. So Diablo isn't coming to that. The Switch is the new.
A little big.
It's a little big for handheld, but it is pretty handheld. But handheld, pocket size, it's phones. And
Yeah,
this
sure.
is this is these. I mean, let's be honest here. These suckers have got processors in them that are far superior than anything we've seen. These, I mean,
1 billion
these run
megabits.
for,
Yeah,
right.
they totally process it.
So this is how we play things portable now, not with like a handheld gaming machine, but this. So I think we have to stop thinking about it as something that we just play in the can. But there are people out there, kids, people, teenagers, that will sit on their couch and play a mobile game for hours on here. They will play Fortnite at school for hours. They
Not
will
my
play,
kid.
well, now you're a kid,
Not my kid.
but
Not your kid. Our kids are going to be better than that. If they're
better.
home, they're going to put down the phones and play on the PC like we did growing up.
Look, I think I agree with you. There's no denying they should have mentioned something PC. But here comes the one thing that just annoys me about all of this. We had stories prior to this, prior to the announcement that they had already confirmed and not confirmed by random tweets and everything else. If these PC guys already know, they already read the Twitters. They're already in the news. They know everything that's going on. They
Sure.
know Diablo 4 is being developed.
Of
It's not
course.
like it's not being developed. But Blizzard has always been perfectionists. They will
Sure.
not announce something unless it's ready to go. They have learned from their mistakes from like StarCraft Ghost. Remember that game that was announced many years ago and never came out and then died?
Yeah, sure. The perfectly named
Overwatch.
StarCraft Ghost.
Overwatch was something that was announced many years ago and was just evolved into Overwatch. It was another project that eventually evolved into Overwatch. They have learned
I feel
not
like Overwatch came out of nowhere. Like there was some
but
teasers,
there
and then it came
was.
out, and I don't remember what was the game that was really hyped and then got crushed. Pretty by
Battleborn.
that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Battleborn.
So Blizzard knows how to wield that hammer that they know how to wield so well. And I think they're just not ready. They're not ready. They just released Diablo 3 on the Switch. They're polishing up. They release patches for
And you
Diablo
think
3.
they just had to plug in some Diablo news, so
They plugged it in. So the article that I was reading today, again, another article from Taku, said that they were announcing, like, according to news, is they at the 11th hour pulled the announcement of Diablo 4 from the BlizzCon thing, from the keynote.
It's a shame, man, because it seems like everyone would have had a great time and would have enjoyed all the other news except for the big old scoop of turd that they put on the. Like, it's like you went to a nice buffet, there was a big bowl of turd there, or smelled really bad. I don't know.
What did they want? They know it's being made. Did they just want a title screen that said Diablo 4 and that's it? Would that have been enough?
If you don't pay tribute to the PC, then you've done it.
They know it's coming. I just don't understand.
Who are you? What have you done with Joe? Are you unfamiliar with the gamer culture and how they think that they are owed something when they are not owed anything?
I know. Look, I'm just.
That's where the rage is all coming from.
I've always been, you know me, man. Like, I get these developers. These developers work hard, and Blizzard is one of those that gives and gives. You've got a game like Overwatch that, yes, people have to pay for skins or whatever, loot boxes, all that controversy.
They give stuff all the time.
But it's a game that came out 2 years ago now, and new characters, new content, new maps.
It still costs like full price. It annoys me. I'm not going to lie to you.
Occasionally it goes down to $30, but because look how much content has been added since day one. So here we go, a game that they really haven't asked for more money other than the entry price. You can gain all of the gold you want by playing it, by getting loot boxes in the game.
Sure, but people spend money on it. You've spent money on skins.
I know, I have. And my philosophy has always been, that we've talked about this, is I throw these guys $30-$40, once every few months, because it's my price of entry for a new game. If I'm still playing it many months down the road and they're adding new content, it's like me buying a new game.
That's a good philosophy, right? But I feel like a lot of PC gamers and a lot of gamers in general have now started to resent that kind of constant cost or constant hit up for money. I know, otherwise we wouldn't have games, right? They're businesses; they got to make some money. I get it. I don't
understand. I don't.
You know what I really appreciated coming out of this weekend were the amazing, just the amazing production of memes and like mean blog. Like it really everyone went into full on overtime, producing thousands and hundreds of thousands of memes.
So one other thing that I forgot to mention, and something that happened the day before BlizzCon, and we need to talk about it, and we should have added it. We didn't talk about this pre-show.
Okay.
But Nintendo had their Nintendo Direct.
Sure.
It's their final Nintendo Direct before Smash Brothers. And you're not a big Nintendo guy. You don't own a Switch at the moment. But the Smash community and Smash Brothers in general is a ginormous thing. It's big. I mean, I've got all of those amiibos up there, are Smash.
Right, I see them.
We've got posters right there of Smash. I love Smash. I love, Mega Man. I love all that. So Smash Ultimate was announced, back at E3. Fantastic game that's coming out. And it's coming out December 7th. But they announced their final Direct. And the big explosion that happened of the news.
Is Direct like what Nintendo calls it?
Yeah, right. So if you're not familiar with Nintendo, this is for anyone who's watching this that isn't a Nintendo fan. Nintendo does something very different. Again, just like they always do, is their method of news releases they call these Nintendo Directs, and they do these announcements a couple days prior. They say October so and so, we're at 9:00. We're going to have a 30-minute Direct regarding the Nintendo Switch.
Sure.
Or we're going to have a Direct specifically only for the 3DS for games coming out this fall. And so it's a way for them to kind of manipulate the media for one day. Like, because they drop the bomb saying it's going to happen that day, they set this timer off. Everyone's like, what are they going to announce? What are they going to announce? News media, the buzz happens. It's like Apple. It's the Apple mentality. We're having an event. Here it is on this day. Now the media is talking about it up to that day. Everyone's watching. They announce it, and then whatever they announce is usually pretty big, or it's meh, but it's enough that it
gets some coverage.
Fills up the news for that 24 hours, 48 hours.
Sure.
Smash had their last one before the release date, and they announced a couple new characters for the roster.
Uh-huh.
One of them is Ken from Street Fighter, so we're not going to have Ken as a fighter inside of Smash. So that game you've always wanted, where you can have Mario fighting Ken from Street Fighter.
Sure, that's something I've
Whatever.
always dreamed of.
And again, if you're not familiar with Smash now, it is the ultimate crossover game. I mean, you've got characters from. I mean, it's the one game.
You got everyone, right? You got like Sonic. Everybody's in there.
You have Sonic, Pac-Man, Mega Man, Mario, Ryu, Ken now. Bayonetta, Metal Solid Snake from Metal Gear.
Sure.
And every other Nintendo character altogether. So they're
going to have a Fortnite character eventually. You heard it here first.
Right, I'm sure they will. But the roster's up to 74 characters. Oof. It's magnificent game. I mean, it's this magnificent game. And the two big news besides that was they announced one extra character, which was the Rage that you're talking about, Diablo. This is the Rage for this. And one of the characters they announced, everyone's been clamoring for Waluigi as a character.
Okay, all right.
They've got Wario. They have Wario. They have Daisy. They have Peter, Princess Peach. They have the entire Mario roster is there, except Waluigi. He's and Toad. Toad isn't a fighter yet. Anyway. But the major characters are there. Waluigi's the one that's left. I mean, you've got Baby, you've got Bowser Jr., etc. No Waluigi. Who do they announce for the character? A piranha plant.
Nice.
Like, I'm not talking about some special, like literally a potted plant. A pot with a piranha plant that literally hops around. And the internet was just like fuming. It was so again, you talked about fantastic memes being released.
Those were good ones too. Yeah, no, I did see a few of those. They were a little out of context for me. But again, this is the gamer community almost like internally building up expectations. You know what? I will even extend it to fandoms in general. They build up these sort of expectations within their insular communities, and then when these developers don't deliver on what they dreamed they were going to get, they lose their minds. I mean, fandoms for Steven Universe, when the wrong ship isn't supported. I'm sure.
Star Wars,
Star Wars, yeah.
We'll poke that one with a pole,
long range stick, right? But like if you don't give them the Luke they wanted, you don't give them the Leia they expected. If you give them something different, all their sort of fanfic that they wrote in their minds.
Yeah,
right?
It's that headcanon, right?
Yeah, so and they all go nuts because they're not getting what they thought they had communicated to developers they should do.
I find that interesting, and we're not going to touch on it a bit too much, but I do think that that's interesting, especially with like the Star Wars, the big blow up that was The Last Jedi. Whether you like the movie or not is irrelevant. I think
on my third viewing, I came around to enjoying it.
I loved it, but you know me.
Sure.
I enjoyed the movie. The Luke that I got was perfectly what I thought Luke,
perfectly modern Luke,
the version of Luke that they wanted to give me, and that's what I accepted.
Yep.
This conversation is about what fans expect, and I find it interesting that I guess the Star Wars universe was one of those where the expectation was set because we've had all these other stories for years.
Sure.
You had 10, 15 years 20 years of expanded universe books that were completely and utterly like thrown out the window because Disney bought the franchise.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I get their anger in retrospect, but we always knew that expanded universe had nothing to do with canon.
Also, I mean, I don't even get the like almost fervent, fanatical need for that stuff to be around. We grew up with comic books where they rewrite the origins of our comic book characters every 3 years.
Right.
We grew up with people just
D&D. D&D has one edition 5, and they rewrite it, and you've got. But see, what's interesting about that is
clones, and so like we've all had our histories rewritten over and over and over again. It's weird to me that folks have this kind of religious need to inform people who create for them that they're wrong about what they've created. It's a weird. I don't get it. It makes me angry. It makes me hate. Like it's a weird sort of feeling where I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to talk to other fans about this stuff because then it gets a little weird.
Right. We've learned, I think one of the things that the 2017, 2018 morality for me has been no longer joining fan communities of things.
It's so sad.
at one point in time, I was like, yes, there are more people like me. And then the movie comes out, and I'm like, you guys, it's like that Community episode where he walks in and the building's on fire, and he brought him the pizza. That's me. I'm like, hey guys, did y'all enjoy this? And I'm like, why is everything on fire? Like,
how could I have the wrong opinion when we both like this thing?
Yeah.
It's and we've had spirited debates, and we always have a good time. But some people like are really angry.
But it's
like Diablo.
I think the one thing that I always tell people, and it doesn't matter, it goes one ear out the other, is your childhood is still there. An example to this was the Ghostbusters movies. Right.
We don't need to rehash that.
We can
not rehash it.
We'll just talk about it because, again, we're talking about fandoms here, and there is this interesting fandom of Ghostbuster fans, which I get it. It's a fantastic movie. I loved it, but we only got 2, and we got the cartoons. And you know me, man. I dumped toys. I dumped $300+ on the board game. I've got both part 1 and part 2.
You do, yeah.
And the big editions too. So I've got. Don't talk to me about investing money into your fandom. I've dumped $400 into Ghostbusters.
Solid co-op game, by the way. If you see it out there, you can see them on special every so often. Pick them up. Good game.
Pick it up. Fantastic co-op game. If you like co-op board games, it's fantastic. We'll talk about it one day. We'll
it's good and fast. That's what's important about that co-op game.
So here's a fandom that exists, but there hasn't been anything given to them for years, right? Years, and you had for many years clamoring of Ghostbusters 3. It's going to happen. Maybe it's going to happen. Maybe it's not. And then Reitman died. Egon, one of the major creators for the.
Everyone had to say goodbye.
You had to say goodbye, and he passed away. And so the decision making was now left to very few. Basically, while it was a blessing and a curse that he passed away, it's the fact that he passed away which allowed the franchise to maybe move on without his blessing.
Yeah, something new gets made.
Something new gets made. And so Dan Aykroyd and others allowed it to be rebooted in the female sense. They were like, let's hand this off to some female comedians. And there went the ugly. Like, this is where... the movie hadn't even been...
That's not. We could talk about this. We're
not going to talk about it. I know where you're talking.
I think that was much more tied up into the overall misogyny out there, and the overall feelings of. But I'm a white man, and I feel like things are being taken away from me. That's
right. But that's it. This movie came out, and the one argument that everyone makes is my childhood, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Your childhood is still there.
Go watch it. It's on your shelf.
It's on your shelf. If you don't want to, if you want to just
don't spend $1 on that. Just go enjoy.
Again, here's an example. My kid, he's 4. He watches part 1, part 2, and the new one, and he loves all 3 of them in his own way. It's that purity. That's this whole.
My kid just watched the new one with us, and she lost her mind. It was way too scary for her. So your kid's good. She ran out of the room. She came back. We put her to bed, and middle of the night she comes and joins us in our bed, of course, and she says, that blue ghost is way too scary.
That first scene. Right. Yeah, that's a tough one. No, for sure, that's a tough one.
So, it colored the entire film for her.
But that's interesting. But again, we have this whole this podcast, videocast that we're doing is about our kids and raising our kids.
Yeah. And nerddom.
And how we do things and how we kind of see things and watching the things that we watch. And Ghostbusters was an interesting one because he picked it up. I didn't give it to him. He picked it up.
That's good.
And he latched on it for like 8 months. Was like
same thing with my kid. She wanted to watch it. She saw it
over and over again.
Wanted to watch it.
And to tell a kid that they're wrong for liking something that's new because it doesn't fit the agenda that we like is, I think, completely wrong. There's multiple examples to this. Ghostbusters, the new Ninja Turtles. We can talk about that another episode.
Yeah. I agree with you in principle, and you're totally right. Unless my kid comes to me and says that the Phantom Menace is the best Star Wars film, then she needs to move out. Right? That's really
right. You put her with a hobo pack, and
that's my line. Right? I'm like, oh, this is. You can do anything, you can be anything, but that's my line. That's the red line.
All right. So let's move on to another story because I know we can talk about this all day.
Yeah. So let's do a quick celebration story, right? So let's move from this thing to us. Penny Arcade, right? PAX East founders, talk about them. 20 years, right? Big landmark, sort of benchmark you get, milestone, whatever word you want to put there. They've been producing comics Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 20 years now, producing blog posts with it. They've built
an empire.
I'm hesitant to say it, but yeah, an empire around their brand. And I think while their comics are still quality, and you've definitely seen the evolution of both their writing style and their art style if you ever go back into the archives. I do think they've also done a really good job of staying on top of trends coming their way, adjusting and pivoting. So while they're making comics, their streams and the webcasts they put up on Patreon are amazing. I mean, I've watched a few. It inspired me to do this with you. It's given me ideas for my own D&D games, right? I think they've had their hiccups, and I'm sure I have a few listeners who would shake their fist at me for even saying that they've done good things, but they have. They're creators who've made a bunch of mistakes, but
we haven't raised the millions of dollars that they have.
Oh, I mean, raising. I mean, anyone
money. I'm not saying money buys. I'm just saying like.
I think on the balance, right? If we put them on a balance scale, they have created more good and interesting than they have put out the bad sort of news.
Oh yeah,
and I also think that they've done a good job of pivoting away from saying stupid stuff. I think they really thought about the stupid moments they had. And if you talk to them now, I mean, you probably don't want to bring it up, but I think they've done a good job of saying, you know what, I was wrong. I apologize. I need to go back and think about this some more because I had the wrong approach clearly. So,
and that's important.
Yeah,
I think that's important. We need to be more that.
Yeah.
And the fact that the internet community and the type of mentality that the internet breeds is the fact that the moment someone does something wrong, we salt the earth. Burn it, salt the earth.
On the flip side of that, though, right? I mean, their fans can be a little aggressive in defending them, right? So I think
everything has two sides.
Everything has two sides, but they definitely have had some.
They've had some issues, and we're not gonna bring it up because that's not what we're talking about here.
20-year celebration, 20-year
celebration, and
makes me feel old. I think I saw my first comic on my old Macintosh. I think PowerBook. It's like a big brick, like this big. You can open it with a crank, maybe, and little tiny screen. I was in college.
Was it 98? Right.
Yeah.
So I had just. You were in college.
Yep.
I don't know how many years in college. In probably 3 years from college.
Yeah, 3 years in.
I was just graduating. I was just starting high school. 98. So that's the difference between you and me, right? So 4 years, 5 years, 5-year difference there.
7 years. Yeah.
7 years. Well, 7 years like into it, but like age-wise. So I was 98 was my freshman year of high school, and I remember friends mentioning this like funny comic, and we started reading it, and like we didn't read it until like a year later, maybe 99, 2000. And
I remember hitting the archive in the archive, going back and consuming it all instead of writing my final papers. Right, just I'm going to do this the whole way through, and it was great.
And I was working my first tech support jobs, and everyone was there, and they're all techs, and they were like geeky and gamers, and that's where I met my peoples. And sure enough, they were like, "Have you read Penny Arcade? Have you got it?" And every did you read this morning's Penny Arcade? And that's what they are now, and they've become gaming lore. I think they are. I don't want to call them royalty, but they're in a place of power where not only have they influenced the gaming media, the gaming culture, the gaming dynamic as a whole, they've challenged big companies. And at one point in time, they had enough power, and their readers were so focused that they gamers and things changed. Some companies would go, you know what, Penny Arcade is right. Their criticism towards what we did is right. They've caused all that. I mean, if you go to their website, they've got a Celebrate 20 thing, and they talk about all their landmarks.
Yeah, and bless them, because they also sold out hardcore, which I gotta give them credit. I mean, they wound up working for Microsoft. They've done comics for big studios. They've done comics for little studios. They've taken their art and put it out there.
They've done what every major artist wants to do. Yet
for them,
they would tell, some artists would be like, "You sold out," but in reality, we all want to be there. Like,
sell out. Everyone should sell out. We live in a capitalist world. If you're not selling out, you're doing it wrong.
Right. Brought to you by
it's a PlayStation. Sony, please send us money. No, so like it's just do it, man. And they did great. And they did it in a good, let's say, classy way.
Right.
And we both very much enjoy their conventions, right? There was no gaming convention before, or there was, but it was like E3, but you can only get it if you got a pass and finagle your way in, and it wanted to be more of a marketing exercise than a fan exercise. And I remember going to the first PAX East, and it was a thrilling, amazing experience for me. It was one of my first conventions that combined all three of my joys, right? So gaming and role-playing and tabletop, all in the same place. It wasn't just tabletop. It was amazing. And I've gone ever since. And so kudos to them, 20 years. I hope they get, another 10, 15, and then they can retire. I really want them to retire and enjoy themselves.
Right.
Playing D&D for the rest of their lives. I want to see them set up some amazing tables and play some.
Yeah, great. And we've met Jerry and Mike multiple times through random conversations at PAX East, and they are. If you ever see them, you ever go to a PAX,
it might be too quiet.
Right. Well, and just quick, just because we want to move on to the next story, but I want to mention this, that it's been 20 years, and the people that started with their reading their comic have grown up. They're our age now. And people that go to PAX are sometimes 10, 20 years younger than us. And they go there. And one of the funny things that I have worked PAX. I've been an enforcer there. And I've talked to other enforcers and say they've gotten to the point where they can walk around.
No one recognizes them.
And no one recognizes them. No one knows who they are. They are that you see Mike or Jerry walking around, and they're just like, and me going, but then you've got like the 20-year-old just running by them going, like,
right, they're getting on the YouTuber line.
Yeah, they're getting into YouTuber line, and here we go. I'm like, none of this would happen if it wasn't for that guy right
Sure, yeah, no, it's
and
true.
They have literally passed it off to other people,
which I think is great. They've created a venue for other folks to be famous, and I don't want to say stepped aside, because they're still doing some amazing things.
Right.
But they've stepped aside and pursued things very specifically. They're doing great. I'm happy 20 years.
Happy 20 years, guys. Hope for another 20 more, and we will be there I will be there at PAX South, and we will be at PAX East.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Hell or High Water will be there.
Hell or High Water, we will be there. So another quick story. I'm just going to mention this out because I thought this was interesting. And again, back to Fortnite real quick. Fortnite today announced
keeping our streak going.
Keeping our streak going. We were, ding, ding, ding. Every time I mention Fortnite, we should put them in.
Put a counter.
Fortnite today announced. Again, some new skins were being announced again because that's where they make their money, whatever. But the interesting part about this, I wouldn't mention it any other time except this, which Fortnite Epic Games was able to get an NFL license, something that hasn't been done in a long time. Madden owns the player, the NFLPA agreement, so no players can appear. So also, the NFL in general doesn't want their games associated with certain things. So the fact that Fortnite and Epic Games is so popular and so massive that they were able to get not only the NFL license, all the teams, male and female skins will have a full attire with all 32 teams, and being able to put your number, whatever number from 1 through 99 on whatever skin you buy.
You basically wear your favorite player's
favorite player, run around. And what I found completely interesting is this is a game that's not just about like dancing, which if you saw the trailer, they're all dancing and doing whatever. It's got weapons.
Yep.
You're shooting people. like, mind you, there's no blood. It's kind of cartoony and it's colorful and it's bright and people are freaking doing like the twist while you freaking shoot somebody, but you're still using a freaking AK-47 or a Uzi or
Scar, you got a scar?
You got a scar. Got a scar. Is it epic? Is it epic level? Epic level? Legendary scar. Anyway, so you're going to be running around in an NFL like team jersey with a gun shooting people, which is, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I'm going to buy the skins because I want to freaking dance around as my.
You're a dope. You can't help.
I can't help it. But I find it.
You're gonna buy the Texans and the Steelers. Oh no! I branded you. Everyone's gonna go nuts.
No. Yes, I will have both of those and dance around and do all the emotes.
Oh, dude, it's ridiculous.
But that's something to think about. You know, I think it's interesting. We could touch base.
So I want to see how it develops. I wonder. So in this day and age where big data matters, I'd love to be in the room to discuss what the NFL is also getting out of this deal. Because imagine the data they're going to get. They're going to know exactly what players, jersey numbers these folks pick. They're going to know the ages of the people that actually bought the football teams.
Right.
What football teams are most popular, what age groups, what parts of the freaking country, what parts of the world might be involved. It's whether or not they're good players, which doesn't really matter. But the data that the NFL is going to get off of this,
I mean, Madden alone gives them tons of data.
Oh yeah, but this is
something else. Right. This is a whole dynamic that might not be into Madden, but they're definitely into Fortnite, and they're going to buy the skin, and they're going to throw on their favorite team, and they're going to pick number 69. And run around and
not 420. No, but can you get three numbers on?
But I'm sure there's going to be someone with a 20 and then a 4, and they're going to be doing like dances right next.
Yes. High school edgelord Chaos 5.
Edgelord 5. I love the 5 at the end. That was
because high school edgelord was taken already. So
okay. He's the 5th. Man, only the 5th. I'm sorry. 420. You had 420 at the end. Smoke it up, bro. So yeah, that's interesting. Another bit, we've got some time here, and I still want to talk about it. You read an article.
Sure. So I read an article. I've been like, we got time. All right. So I read an article about Tetris. I don't know if folks still remember or recall the great blocks game. I'm sure. Hopefully, everyone listening to this knows Tetris. There was a recent study coming out of California, University of California, regarding how playing Tetris or games like that, let's say, increased your flow. And if folks know what flow is, that's kind of that feeling you get. It's like the runner's high or that gamer high or that reading high where you're in like a motion and time passes and you're highly focused on what you're doing. And it's just, we're all chasing that flow, right? That good feeling. Tetris is really good at getting you there, right? Because it incrementally starts getting harder, but your skill is improving as it goes, right? Every game you feel like you're a Tetris master, even if you're doing poorly compared to actual Tetris masters. They found that playing these games, about 10 minutes, reduced anxiety before big announcements. So they gave it to like folks waiting on their bar exam results or a biopsy result, like really adult stressful moments. And they found that after doing some studies and surveys that it reduced anxiety levels for those folks, which again, just shows why games are so enduring, right? They help us deal with all our stress and problems in one way or another. But Tetris specifically is really good at it.
So Tetris, I know my dad loves it, and
sure,
he would be one of those that plays it sitting on the couch just to kind of relax. My grandfather played it before he passed away. One of the last possessions I remember was his Game Boy. He had a Game Boy, and he had Tetris, and that was the only game he really played on it. Oh yeah, loved it. Just like
my mom loved it. She played that on the Game Boy nonstop. It was just the game to play.
So that's interesting, and this isn't Tetris based, but my wife, a year and a half ago, right after the political brouhaha,
sure,
she was going through big anxiety of news, and if you know my wife, what she does, the news and all of that really affects.
Gut-wrenching. I dig it.
So she was getting tired every night of trying to wade through the feed of news, and she had to do something about it. And I told her, you need to play a game. Why don't you play a game on your phone? And she's like, I don't really do that. I haven't played a game in a long time. And I was like, pick up some puzzle game. Find a puzzle game that
What'd you
you
give her?
enjoy.
Candy Crush?
No, sort of like it, right?
Yeah.
I just said, find a puzzle game of some genre that you might like. And, I downloaded like 6 of them on her phone and, whatever was
Mhm.
popular in the App Store and was like, find one if you like it. And if not, we'll get more.
Yeah.
So she ended up picking one and she's been playing it for the past 2 years. And she says she plays it right before bed and anytime she's got downtime and she's writing her dissertation and all that, and it's not slowing her down, but she does it for that exact reason. It enhances her flow.
Yeah.
It brings her down and she's able to cope with the news feed of the day, of the week, of the month, of the whatever, because she has that. So that's a big, I agree 100%.
Find that game that reduces your flow. And like, I wish I could read the study, but one of my big complaints about the world is that a journalist will link a study and then you click the link to actually read the study and then they want you to pay for the study. Right. And I'm just like, oh, give me like 2-day trial. Let me get in there and look at the study because whatever. Anyway, that's a pet peeve. I don't think we should be charging for academic work, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I did find it neat, right? So that you get these games that you can play and really focus and improve and reduce your anxiety. We all do it. Everyone should do more of it. It's cool. Check it out. It's on Ars Technica. I can put up a link.
Yeah, we'll put up a link in the description. Let's talk about, since we're talking about old games real quick, and you did something this weekend.
Yes, so I went to RetroCon 6 in Syracuse. Here at Syracuse, they were at the On Center, which is our big convention center downtown. It's cool. It's my first RetroCon. I've had friends up here who've gone. Yeah, you're done. I've had friends who've gone to RetroCon before and recommended it, and it was really neat to watch my kid react to both the crowds, because there's some cosplayers there as well, Fortnite cosplayers, really good costumes out there, and also react to the new games, the old games that are new for her. Right, she's never seen these games. I don't own any old systems. I pretty much purge old systems the minute I go to the new ones. And watching her interact with the Atari, especially, made me want to figure out how to get an Atari, right? Because it was.
I'll help you out with that.
Yeah, I don't want to say intuitive, but she definitely grasped the controller and knew how to hold it. Sat down to play Pitfall. I think I posted a picture of her struggling with it. She didn't really understand the video game dynamics of it, right? You had the Pitfall's a really complicated game. You don't die when you touch things. You lose time, and if you lose too much time, I barely understood it when I was a kid, and even playing it as an adult, I'm like, wait, how does this game end? What are you supposed to do? But she just wanted to keep trying. Like, she had this she got into a flow, right, where she wanted to get over that pit, grab the rope, get over the alligators and things like that. She would have played it all day if another kid hadn't come over and wanted to play, which was a joy to watch. Parents my age with their kids, whatever age their kids were, showing off the games that we grew up with. I mean, I showed her a Load Runner on the Mac, which I couldn't remember how to play. I had to actually read the instructions. It was embarrassing. Then we went to the Atari. We moved up to the ColecoVision. We bounced around to the Nintendo games. To my shame, she did not want to play Super Mario Brothers 3, which is the greatest Super Mario Brother game, right? So, but she'll grow into these stuff. So, it's awesome. It was a pretty sweet event. I can't wait to go. In fact, she asked if we can go again on Sunday, and we had other things to do. But I can't wait to take her next time.
So, for those who don't know me personally and are new to all this, I'm a huge retro gamer. I have the majority of the consoles all hooked up, ready to go. So I'm going to give a quick recommendation here. Company called Hyperkin, who makes a lot of reproduction systems. Not all of them are winners, but they have one specific that is fantastic, that has been reviewed very well, and it's called the Retron 77. And
this is me writing it down because I'm old fashioned.
Yeah, it's RETRON capital N 77, and it is a HDMI.
There we go.
Atari 2600 remake. It's a fantastic looking console. If you pull it up, I'll put a link to it. It's a little box. Their new series of systems are all little boxes about this big.
Perfect.
And it's
Put
got
it on the.
it's got the wood grain
Ooh.
and the all the lines, all the striations, like the Atari 2600, and it comes with a controller and it connects through HDMI and it's got crisp, and it plays original 2600 cartridges. Now,
Gee, you'd have to get the cartridges though, right?
right, but the nice thing is, you would think retro games are expensive. The nice part about Atari games is those are cheap.
Yeah,
they're dirt cheap. So go find your local video game retro.
I can go to Voltage Games down here.
Voltage Games in Syracuse, fantastic store. Check them out if you're ever in the Syracuse area. They've got a couple locations. You'd be able to pick up a couple of the classics there and click it in. Turn on. You're going to get the crispest, cleanest graphics you ever saw.
That's what I would want. I also saw they had one they had like an HDMI setup for a Nintendo, which I was like, wow, this is beautiful on this HDMI screen.
We can talk about that one day, but yeah, I've got a lot of them like that. They've been one of the big deals about retro consoles right now is preserving. Preservation is not only a big thing, but it's also playing your games on your original hardware as best as you can. And knowing that trying to plug some of these older consoles into newer TVs introduces something that didn't exist back in the day, which is input lag. Huge input lag. So a game like Mario, where everything's about timing and jumping, you hit a button and there being a delay from when you hit that button to when he jumps.
Oh, my word.
Happens because of the way that old composite video has to be transcoded and then up converted. And so because of that, it's a huge input lag. So you've got a whole retro gaming community that has been behind
solving that riddle.
They've been solving that riddle by not hacking, or the term would be more of a mod. They're taking original hardware and they're going into the electronics and taking that original video feed and running it through something that will then give you a pure digital signal. And then plug into HDMI, and then boom, you've got a console that is 30 years old that could be plugged into HDMI and get clean video.
So, like, if we wanted to, just to close the loop on our previous discussions, if we wanted to take like good fandoms and bad fandoms, I feel like those folks would be in the good fandom groups, right? They're doing almost archival work.
Just like all fandoms, there is toxicity in everything.
Of course.
But the retro game community, depending on who you talk to, and if you follow a lot of them, they're guys like us, guys our age, if not older, or way older sometimes, that have been playing these games for many years, and they've preserved all of this. So yeah, check it out. The Retron 77 is a fantastic one if you're into playing Atari games. That's
nice.
A big one. There are other ones. Retron makes one for the NES and the SNES as well. It's not as good, but if you don't care and you want HDMI, a quick method of playing.
And you find your old Nintendo games in your mom's attic, right?
Right. Pick up a Retron, SNES and a Retron NES and plug it in.
I was surprised at how many old games they had for sale. I mean, these folks got
absolutely.
And also, the sticker shock at some of the prices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have a whole episode dedicated to retro gaming one day. We will.
What about you? What have you been up to? What have been your extravaganzas?
So I did two things. One, I went to Ren Fair, the Texas Renaissance Festival here. It's a big one. Anyone who lives in the Texas area knows that the Texas Renaissance Festival is the one to go to. There is another one up further north, but
nice.
It's called the Texas Renaissance Festival for a reason. It is. I mean, one day, Pedro, if you ever get down here, during this time of year, I'll take you and R and Sarah. And it's a village. It is a town.
I'm familiar with the Renaissance Fair. New York was the greatest one. We've got a giant one in a giant campground with the town and with Vikings and pirates.
I don't think you. I can't come. If I showed you this map,
this is going to turn into a Texas does everything bigger and better. I don't want to.
But we've got so much land that they've literally bought the amount of space that a town would take up, like a real town, not like a fake town. Like it's a couple miles long to get through this.
Okay.
And that being said, it's just
a giant amusement park full of
amusement park. It is Disney with Rennies.
That's awesome.
So it's a fantastic. I had a great time. I'll post some pictures up. One of the other things that I did.
Did your kids have a great time? I want to hear about your kids. God.
So my kids, we dressed them up as my mother-in-law decided to make costumes for my two nephews and my kids, and they were dressed up as musketeers.
So
Um,
that's like 3 or 4 costumes in a week for these
oh
kids.
my, yeah, yes, yeah. So they
Halloween never ended.
Zelda, Link costume, Mega Man costume, Spider Man costume, D'Artagnan costume. So
Very nice.
my mother-in-law is fantastic, phenomenal. She's Texas encompassed with the crafting, and so and one afternoon I came home and she had cranked out full-on tabards,
That's awesome.
and I did the designs. I did
The fleur de lis,
fleur de lis,
Yeah.
and a French cross on. So we did
Very
red and
nice.
blue, and my nephews were red and my kids were blue, and so we gave them swords and hats, and they went
They
out.
got stabbed a lot,
Got
right?
stabbed a lot with
That's
plastic
fun.
swords.
That's great.
So that was a fantastic trip. They enjoyed it. We had been before, but they were just old enough now that they got it. And
Yeah.
the one thing that they begged is they wanted to see the knights. They wanted to see the jousting, and
Awesome.
they jousted. So that's what we had. One of the things that I want to talk about as well is something that I did on Monday of last week, which I didn't get to talk about the last episode because we ran short on time. But I went to the MC Chris concert here in Houston. And if you're not familiar with MC Chris, if you are familiar with Aqua Teen Hunger Force on Adult Swim,
Some of us might be.
some of us might be, some of us might not be. But if you are, there is a specific character on there named MCP Pants. And he was a giant spider that was supposed to be a little kid. That he was a rapper, high-pitched rapper. That sounded like a kid. But that is MC Chris, and that is his actual voice. And he is famous for doing lots of voice work for Adult Swim. He did the voice of Hesh on C-Lab 2021.
Oh, I didn't realize he did that one.
Yeah, he did a couple other voices. He's kind of worked in and out with Cartoon Network for a while, but he's also popular for a couple songs that you might have heard. Fet's Vet is probably his biggest hit.
That's right, yeah.
And he did one of his songs was also picked up for Honda for the Honda Fit when it announced. It was the Hoodie Ninja
I'm a
song.
ninja. Yeah, Hoodie Ninja.
Yeah, Hoodie Ninja, that was on a commercial for a long time. So he's a geek rapper. He's what they call nerdcore.
Yeah.
He raps about gaming and nerd culture and whatnot. And he came down to Houston, and what's interesting about MC Chris right now is he is I wouldn't want to say hardship. I would have to say he's definitely a genre all on his own, where his fandom really supports his art. And right, he's got a kid and a wife, and he's touring, and he's posting on Facebook, and he's like, "Hey, come and watch me." And he's live videoing it from his van, and he's living out of his van as he's my age, if not older. Doing this nerdcore life, it just goes to show how far you go for your art. I mean, he could have given up years ago, but he continues. What's nice about MC Chris, he's very approachable. Got to meet him, take pictures, shake his hand, sign some things. He had a couple of openers as well. We had one of his openers was called Lex. And I will post a link.
Is it just Lex, or is it Lexicon?
It's
Lexicon.
Lex the Lexicon artist.
Yes.
And she's a fantastic individual. Fantastic. I'll post some of her stuff. She's on Spotify. She was the opener. She started off the concert. And let me tell you, this individual, she's a tiny little,
killed the crowd.
Tiny little Asian woman. And she had the energy to ramp up a crowd. I mean, first off, it's intimidating enough to go first to kind of start a concert like this, but to just go up there and just like have the energy to kind of get that crowd going was something to behold. I have to.
I listened to her stuff after watching you post about it, and it's high energy stuff. I mean, it got me moving.
Yeah. So
I couldn't listen to it while trying to work. In other words, I had to turn it off and do other things.
She's good driving music for sure. I definitely pop her on when I'm driving on the way home now, and she's got a fan. She was super approachable, super nice. So go check her out. The next artist was an artist called Dual Core, who is a fantastic individual. He's out of Austin, coming out of Cincinnati. He has been featured. He has played and opened and actually headlined out of DEF CON. He's a
there you go.
He's a security nerd, and so a lot of his flows are about.
Is that what we call hackers now? Security nerds?
They're well, he's definitely well, right. So if you don't know me, and if you do now, I used to go to DEF CON quite a bit. I'm into security, network security, and you always start off as a hacker. Right. And from hackers, you got to make money.
You either go legitimate or you don't.
You go legitimate or you don't.
There are two paths.
There are two paths, and when you don't, is you live out of someone's basement and you eat pizza rolls and
drop the latest Xbox games before anyone sees them.
Right. You're seen, bro. But this guy, he works for a big company. I'm not going to say the name because he asked me not to. But I will tell you though that
no hits,
he mentioned something that he was at a previous DEF CON and on a surprise showed up and gave a panel about the company he worked for, and they let him go that very next week when he showed up to work because he was that hardcore. So that's awesome. So he talks about that on stage. So that's nothing that doesn't know. But now he's working for someone else, which is fantastic. And yeah, he's a great guy. What's interesting about his dynamic is he's a rapper. He writes all the lyrics. His partner in crime, which is called Dual Core, he's the single core of the Dual Core, is based out of the UK. So they never do it live. They collaborate over internet. One creates a beat, sends it to him. He writes lyrics for it. He sends it back. He fines tunes the beats, and then it gets released.
They do that on stage? How do they perform on stage?
So on stage, he gets the music from him digitally and puts it on, and then he raps on top of it.
Got it.
So he would be a DJ. The guy in the UK would be a DJ. And again, I don't have his name. I apologize if I'm not mentioning his name, but that's because he wasn't there.
We'll put it in the YouTube.
We'll put it in the YouTube. But this individual of Dual Core is fantastic, and he is the lyricist. And he came on and did a couple songs with Lex, and they played off to each other. And he is in one of her tracks, and she is in one of his tracks. But yeah, that's great. It just goes to show how technology works for a genre like this. That is rap, is you don't have to be live to make this music. One individual makes the beats and the music, and the other person performs lyrics.
Collaborate on everything.
They are a functional band enough that they've been doing it for years, and they headline places.
That's awesome.
So yeah, three fantastic artists. Go check them out. Dual Core. Lex, the Lexicon artist, and MC Chris, please. They're fantastic people, and they are one of us. And we will have maybe a whole episode dedicated to nerdcore. We've listened to quite a few of them at many of the conventions that we've been at, from MC Lars to MC Frontalot to Mega Ran to Protoman, all of them. They're all fantastic individuals.
Mm-hmm. All right, dude. I think we covered it out. We covered our weekend. We covered some family stuff, and we covered the news.
Right. Absolutely. So again, thanks for listening. If you please mash that like button, hit that subscribe button. Please hit that subscribe button.
Facebook us.
To tell us how much you hate it. Please just comment on there and let's have a discussion. If this was distracting, please tell me. I had it running in the background.
Just makes me want to play it.
Yeah, right. I'm sure it's subliminally, and everyone is getting Capcom games.
Yeah. I mean, I went and bought Tetris after reading that article. I wanted to play it so bad.
Yeah. So please like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about us. If you're within our age range and you're enjoying what we do, please share us.
Yep.
That's what we want.
And as always, thank you for listening.
Yeah. Again, thanks for listening. Have a good one. Have a good week. See you next one.
Thanks.